and welcome to For Heaven's Sake, a Seventh Heaven podcast. We are your co-hosts, Lady J.
And T.
How are you, T?
I'm great, and how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just good?
Just good.
Just good.
I'm good because you know why?
Why?
This is our 2-year anniversary, dude.
We have a 2-year anniversary.
Can you believe it?
I should have brought a cake. I said that last time, and I fucked up again.
Listen, I can't blame you. I didn't tell you about this till just now.
Yeah. But I should have this in my calendar and be like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, technically, yesterday was our 2-year anniversary, so I'll allow it.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, this is airing on October 4th, and we aired our first episode on October 3rd, 2016.
Aww.
Can you believe it?
Oh my God.
Doesn't that feel like decades ago?
When is this show gonna end?
I know. But listen, if there's anyone that I'd want to be on this 2-year adventure with, it's you.
Oh, you romantic fool.
I mean, I can't help it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's been quite the ride.
Hasn't it, though?
And now we're kind of in the home stretch.
We are.
We're there's 7 months to go.
Yeah.
8-ish months to go.
It all depends. Depends on where we are in our lives. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right?
I think we have 6 months of recording to go.
Okay.
But there's still 8 or 9-ish months of podcasts to go because we're super ahead of ourselves.
Yay.
But yeah, it's exciting.
It is.
It's also almost the end of an era, but we're not there yet.
I know. We're not there yet.
But
we still got season 10 and 11, y'all.
Oh my God. And most of 9.
9, yeah.
Well, then without further ado, let's get into it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is episode 906, titled Fathers.
Father.
The Amazon Prime spoilie is Ruthie looks for love, and Eric counsels a young father.
Oh, God.
Okay. I love how we're just not name dropping this father that we know.
Yeah.
The DVD description is Kevin doesn't like Lucy's new doctor, but his brother Ben approves. Eric contacts Wilson to counsel a young father.
No.
And Ruthie wears makeup to attract a boy.
But she has been wearing makeup.
I know. It's not news, y'all.
Yeah.
She's been looking fly all season. But right off the bat, can we talk about the 2 fucking cameos in this episode?
Yeah, I know. I got so excited when I saw Ben.
Fucking Ben and Wilson.
I know.
What are we doing? Dude, I feel like it's Christmas. It was unreal. But then it was very short-lived because
it was
halfway through the episode I was like, oh yeah, no shit, they just found all the men they could find from all the seasons past and threw them into this episode together
just to see if it works.
I'm also disappointed because this is also no Simon again.
Yeah,
there was no Simon in the last episode. There's no Simon in this episode. I'm I thought he was back.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does have school.
Back in school. Whatever.
So if this, for sure Thanksgiving special, they're going to have one with...
Dude, he better.
Yeah.
He better be home for Thanksgiving. He better be home for Christmas.
Yeah, we need
saying.
We need to see those episodes.
Just saying. So, yeah. I don't even know. Let's just talk about Ruthie.
Okay.
Oh my God, Ruthie. I don't know how to feel for her in this episode. I can't feel for her.
I mean,
she's just bad. She's just not doing it right.
Okay.
I don't know. Is that just me? Did you feel like that at all? Or were you on her side?
It's not about being on her side. I thought okay, maybe this is a side of Ruthie that has never been shown before, and let's just see where they go with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the Ruthie that we know and love and root for. This is kind of a vulnerable Ruthie, but also confused Ruthie, which is okay.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think this is a confused Ruthie.
Yeah.
We've never seen Ruthie be anything but convicted.
Yeah.
In herself, in what she believes and stands for.
Exactly.
In this episode, she's truly succumb to her adolescent sort of hormonal shit.
Yeah, which, I mean, it can be a good thing because, I mean, if you see Ruthie always moving with her convictions. And it's just like, okay, which is great because this girl knows who she is.
Right.
But I don't know anybody that is like that. Like, you know, there has to be a room for growth, I guess, somewhere. And maybe they're trying to make that in this episode. Maybe, not my favorite episode,
see.
guys. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to explore it. Trying is the word. So
Yeah, I think you're right that like a Ruthie that doesn't show all the colors of emotion is a Ruthie that becomes one note.
yeah,
And becomes less and less compelling to watch.
yeah,
And I think this is the show trying to give some dimension
Yeah.
to this character, and who I think has earned it too.
yeah,
Which is important. Like, you know, over the course of 8 seasons, like we've known Ruthie to be who she is.
Yeah.
You know, sort of whole hog. Like she is one to have convictions and to stand by what she believes in and to not bend for any one person or thing or whatever. And, you know, I don't know if this is the beginning of exploring an arc for that character or if this is just going to be a standalone episode that never leads to anything. But
I mean, yeah.
But at the very least, it's an attempt to give this character some room you know, to play.
And I don't know. I just like right now this thought also came to me because like towards the end, you know, what Ruthie kind of maybe learns, or at least maybe the audience learns, is you see Ruthie pushing herself to being something that she's never like dipped into. Like it's almost like she's mimicking what she thinks a girl is supposed to be. And so she keeps pushing it. But in the end, it's just like, girl, do you. And do you the way that you only know how.
Right.
Which is okay.
Because she fails. I mean, she fails terribly at whatever game it is she thinks she's playing in this episode. And it's hard to watch. Because it like your heart sort of like, you know, reaches for her and like, you know, feels for her and stuff. But I think you're right that I think she learns a valuable lesson here too, which is to just be herself. And there's so much to talk about. Let's just talk about it. Like, I don't even know why we're mincing words. Like, so she overhears a conversation behind a closed door that Martin and Mac are having. About how Mac is like jonesing for a girlfriend because Pam has broken up with him, and you know, and Martin is just like, I'm not even thinking about girlfriends, like I'm just worried about my game and whatever. And Mac's like, dude, like we need to get girlfriends, and mentioned something about how there's like this freshman girl that's like a little bit interested in him or whatever, but he's like, ew, she's a freshman. And Martin says, like, I mean, she's just a couple years younger than you. I don't see what the big deal is about that. And you see Ruthie overhear that and kind of get this like light bulb moment, like in her own head, which I think you did too. Wrongly assumed that's the light bulb of like her and Martin. But it's like not, which was even more heartbreaking.
We're like we're way too many steps ahead of where we think the show is going to go.
So rooting for Martin and Ruthie.
We're like, just get there.
This whole thing was just like this like dramatic detour for no reason. But so Ruthie gets this like glint in her eye, and we see her putting on her makeup and stuff, and Annie walks in as she's, you know, putting the finishing touches on her cheeks or whatever, and kind of calls out like, oh, like, look at you. Like, I didn't even know you could do that, you know, whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm just, you know, trying things out, whatever. Like, I've learned from Lucy and Mary and stuff. And then kind of approaches the idea with her mom of like, does she have permission for a hypothetical group hang that might present itself between her, Martin, and Mac? And Annie, because she's Annie and knows everything and is the greatest of all time, is like, okay, like, are you sure this isn't just that you're into Mac? Like,
Yeah.
are you like, what is this really about? And she's like, nothing. Like, it's just about being friends and like hanging out.
Yeah.
And it kind of like escalates again because Ruthie doesn't know how to handle this scenario.
Yeah.
Like, she's not handling it well.
Martin's like a big brother and Max his friend, right?
Right.
So why couldn't I go?
Because you wouldn't be putting makeup on to go out with Simon and his friend, which makes me think that you are interested in Mac.
If Mac ever wanted to go on a real date with me and I wanted to go, then I'd ask you and Dad. But Mac doesn't want to date me and I don't want to date him. I just want to hang out with him and Martin.
If you are being completely honest with me, then I guess it's perfectly all right for you to hang out with Martin and Mac if they ask you. But if you're not being completely honest, then go and think about it, and then we'll talk again.
I mean, I love that Annie is putting the ball in Ruthie's court.
Yeah.
And not, not really putting ideas in her head, but also recognizing that like Ruthie might need a door to be opened.
Yeah.
For her to like walk through it.
Exactly.
And doesn't say no.
Yeah.
Like she's like, sure, if this is a group hang, you can go. I'm not going to say no to you.
Yeah.
But if it's not just a group thing for you, if you're into Mac,
Yeah.
then like talk to me because this will be a different conversation.
Exactly.
But again, this is why I love Annie because unlike Eric, Annie allows her children to live their lives and make their mistakes and experience the things that they're gonna experience.
Yeah.
Rather than try to like protect them and keep them at home and keep them in a bubble and be like, you're not gonna talk date boys or whatever. It's like Annie recognizes that that's not what it's about.
Yep.
It's about allowing your children to like go and spread their wings and then just being there for them one way or another, you know? Anyway, so she's like, it's a group hang. And then the boys are like hanging out downstairs and she comes down and she's looking all dolled up.
Yep.
And she's like, hey guys, whatever, like, what's up?
Yeah. Being coy.
Being super like nonchalant.
Yeah. A little like flirty, but not.
Not really, but she is definitely forward. Like, she's like, oh, hey, like maybe you guys want to hang out later, like go to the promenade, get some pizza. Like she's like orchestrating the group hang, Mm-hmm. And Martin is immediately
like red flag. Yeah.
Red alert. Like what is going on here? Like this is odd and awkward. And, but then Mac is like into it. Like, weirdly, and this is where I fault Mac because I'm like, Mac, you kind of like, I don't want to say that he led her on, but he didn't have to be so enthusiastic about it.
Yeah. Why don't you join us?
He's like, yeah, I could go for some pizza after practice. Like, that sounds like a great idea, Martin, like, which gives Ruthie this like false sense of hope / confidence that like maybe he's picking up what she's putting down, you know? And so then they go away to practice. And then when they come back, she's like waiting for them in the backyard,
Yep.
And she's like, oh, hey, so I'm hungry. If you guys are hungry, like, let's do pizza. And Martin's like, what are you talking about? Like, we're going upstairs. And Ruthie's like, we talked about pizza.
Yeah.
And Mac's like, yeah, we did, dude. Like, let's go get pizza. Which again, I'm like, Mac, what the fuck?
Yeah. And the show makes you believe that
he's into it.
But also because when Ruthie offers him, do you want something to drink? And she goes and gets the glass of water. Mac is watching her every move.
Yep.
So you're thinking, oh, okay, maybe Mac is thinking about it.
It's a silent tension.
Yeah.
Like, and we're kidding ourselves if the show is kidding us if it thinks we're not going to pick up what it's putting down.
Exactly.
Like the show is putting down these breadcrumbs of a little bit of tension between Mac and Ruthie.
Yeah.
And then they shit all over us, the audience.
Yeah.
When they're out for pizza at the promenade
and
these girls show up.
Yeah. And you hear Mac, I think, say just as much to Martin, like, oh no, they'll show up. Like he does say something like this.
Okay. He says, I thought they would show up. I guess I was wrong or something like that. And I assumed he was talking about baseball practice because it's the weekend and they went for practice and then they came back and Martin and Max like, oh, I thought they'd show up. And I just in my head was like, oh, he must be talking about baseball practice or something. Yeah. But you're right that he was talking about these girls that they're going to go try to hook up with later.
Yep.
Who do show up.
Yeah.
And to whom Max says, oh, this is Ruthie. She's like a little sister.
Yeah.
And Ruthie's face just falls. Mm-hmm. And she gets so embarrassed, as you would imagine.
Of course.
And she just wants to leave.
Yeah.
like the fact that she keeps it together. I mean, she kind of does and she doesn't. Like she gets a little pissy and stuff, but she doesn't cry. She doesn't fall apart. She just like makes it through the night until they get home.
And that's when she falls apart.
Which still though, props to her. Like I would have excused myself to the bathroom like 5 times between now and then. like crazy. She's props to Ruthie. Like she is a together lady, you know, like very self-assured, and also one who's not going to give Mac the satisfaction of knowing that she is devastated by his comment, you know. And so she does though. She falls apart and she's like crying as she wipes her makeup off. And it's so hard to watch because for all of her flaws and things that I take issue with the character of Ruthie, like I don't want her to go through that shit, you know? Like I see myself in that. Like I recognize my own 14-year-old self in that moment, you know? And it's like it was like a little heartbreaking and sad.
You're like, oh yeah, I've been there, babe. I know.
Yeah. Yeah, just like all the feels, everything is heightened because all the stakes are greater, you know, for no reason, and like everything is life or death, and yeah, it's sad. And then Annie, of course, hears about her storming into the house, and she's like, I suspected as much, and kind of knows that she's gonna go have to talk to her, you know, and does that, but. I don't know. Poor Ruth.
Yeah. And then of course Eric comes in and gives her a talk.
Yeah, which is a little barfy. But let's listen to it.
I didn't mean to lie to you. I was just lying to myself and it spilled out to you and Mom. I thought if I could just hang out, he would get to know me and see how mature I was. I thought I looked so much older with makeup on. He might even ask me out. And then I could ask you if I could go. And then I'd feel all important because some 17-year-old asked me out. Even if you said I couldn't go.
But you are important.
Yeah, to my family.
Yeah, to all of us. And I think all of us would agree that you look beautiful without makeup. But you look beautiful with makeup. I think you kind of shocked us. We had no idea that you have skills in the makeup area. I mean, you might feel like you wasted it on Mac today, but there's no reason why you can't do that for yourself whenever you feel like it. It's very interesting the way you changed your face. You know, from its own natural beauty to a more sophisticated look.
All of a sudden, it goes from this cute little moment of Ruthie being self-aware and I was lying to myself and da-da-da to a fucking makeup conversation. What are we doing?
Well, I know. I thought that was kind of weird too, but then I was also thinking...
But then he redeems it. Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I mean, you can talk about well, you don't need the makeup, sweetheart. You don't need that look or whatever. It could have gone there. But what he's trying to say is it's oh man, you know how to put on makeup. You got the talent for it. So just enjoy it. Have fun, play around with the makeup. No one's saying you shouldn't do it. But maybe what he was trying to say is if you're going to play with makeup for yourself.
That's right. You're right.
And not for the guy. Don't impress the guy.
T, you're so astute.
I don't know about that shit, but you know.
This is not the first time I've said something and you're but. And then I'm like, you're right. You're absolutely right. I think that's exactly his point, is like, sure, it becomes the makeup conversation for 5 minutes, but it's really about the idea that, like, you know, you put on this makeup for Mac, but put it on, change yourself, transform yourself, beautify yourself, but for you.
Yeah.
You know,
if you're going to do all those things, it's just do it for you. Don't do it to impress anybody else but yourself if you're going to, which is, I mean, it's good that he said that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you gave up on boys.
Sorry. I think that was just another lie I told myself.
I love you, Ruthie.
I know, but I want a guy to love me.
I know.
Okay, like, I cried at that moment. I'm about to cry again. Because I feel like that's, like, legitimately a conversation I've had with my dad.
Yeah.
like the idea, like, you know, like the whole, like, I love you, I know, but it doesn't mean much, you know, like, at this point in my life. And yeah, like, it made me feel like a kinship with Ruthie, where I was like, I feel you, girl, you know, like I know that feeling. Like, I know all of those emotions that you're wrapping up in words because it's a television show and you have to, like, all of those emotions. Like, I've been there. I get it. I feel it. Yeah. Like, I'm with you, you know?
It's kind of like when everyone tells you, but I love you, you're the shit, whatever. It's like, dude, I know I'm the shit. Can someone else see it too?
I know.
I know. It's one of those, you're like, it'd be nice. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but let's talk about the real wrap up to this story.
Yeah.
Is when Lucy is powwowing with Ruthie, and Ruthie makes a comment like it's really hard to be dad's daughter because, like, you know, like, I can't settle for anything less than him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Lucy's like, yeah, you just have to find the right guy. Like, I didn't settle for less than dad with Kevin. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, I'm like, didn't you though?
Didn't you though?
I mean, listen, I'm the first person to call out Eric's flaws, but Kevin is no Eric. Who are we kidding?
Yeah.
Like, Kevin is just kind of selfish, kind of a dick, like, kind of not the greatest.
I know. There was a time where we were kind of liking him, especially like the night before their wedding. He's like, go to bed. Like, he's telling everybody else, like, you leave and I'm going to talk to my future wife. Like, that kind of thing that we loved. I'm like, but where is that Kevin?
No, I know, because I genuinely feel like Kevin, I don't really get Kevin.
I don't either.
I don't understand that character.
We don't know enough, and we just see him like spit out some opinions and some thoughts, and like you think that would be enough to understand who Kevin is, but it's really not enough. Mm-mm. It's really not. We've only seen, oh God, it's so bad, but it's almost like with Roxanne, it's like that's when we see Kevin being like kind of his best self.
Yeah.
Cause
oh my God, the moments in the cars.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You're so right. I feel like I know Ben better than I know Kevin.
Oh, Ben.
And Ben is like not even on the show.
And he's always eating. Like, I love Ben.
Fucking Ben.
I just want, like, to have a Ben in your life, like, as a friend would be so entertaining.
Yes, as long as he's like a peripheral friend and not someone that I'm like relying on.
No.
In any capacity, because I feel like Ben could also be super annoying.
Oh yeah.
If he's like my brother, you know what I mean?
Like, sure.
Like, but if he's just like this guy I know and that I hang out with, and he's just who he is, and it doesn't really impact my day to day, like, absolutely greatest friend to have. He's awesome.
Well, he's the uncle, so. They keep throwing that
fucking
shit out
Uncle
there.
Ben, like, that's not a joke.
Yeah.
So he's here. Yeah. He's in town for no reason. They don't care to explain whatsoever.
Nope.
And Lucy and Kevin have a doctor's appointment that they're gonna go to, and Ben is a little bit of a dick when he's like, why are you going? Like, what do you have to do with this?
Yeah.
And Kevin's like, it's my child. I'm the father. I'm invested. Like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, but like, you're not really a part of this.
Yeah.
And Kevin's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, what are you talking about? And honestly, it's like, shut the fuck up, Ben. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, like, what an idiot. Like, he doesn't get it.
He's like, you're not having the kid. She is. Like,
Like, what are you advocating for exactly here,
he's
dude?
like, yeah, I know, but I'm going to be there.
But then all of a sudden he's like, can I come to the doctor's appointment?
Yeah.
Like, what, you want to be there, but you're like, why is Kevin going?
Yeah.
Like, what is he, like, what's happening?
Why do you have to be there? Because I'm the uncle. That's it. Because I'm the uncle.
And Lucy's like, sure, you can come. I mean, you can't be in the room, but you can come. And so Kevin's like, oh, okay. So he shows up. And then immediately Kevin gets on the defensive because this doctor is a little curt with him.
Yeah.
Which never really gets explained.
I know, it doesn't.
She apologizes for her behavior, but doesn't ever explain why she was that way.
Yeah, we don't know why.
Which then makes her completely unsympathetic because, on the one hand, I don't think she needs to coddle Kevin. But on the other hand, if she's going to apologize, at least give me a reason why you were that way.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to give me a reason, then you're just a bitch. Like, what? Like, what's happening here? Kevin's like, oh, she's a man-hating, whatever, witch person who doesn't like me. And what happened to our other doctor? We both liked him very much. But Lucy loves her.
Yeah.
Because she's like, she's a mom, she's experienced, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And like, is all about this new doctor. And then Ben is like all about this new doctor because she's hot.
Yep.
And he wants to get on that.
And with a British accent.
Yeah. So Kevin's like, let's ditch this bitch for our old doctor. Lucy's like, it's my kid. I get to decide who my doctor is. You can take a back seat, like go away. And then Kevin is like venting to Ben.
Of all people.
And then of course, because it's this show and like, are we fucking kidding ourselves? Okay. Mary gets brought up. And then to add insult to injury, Wilson gets brought up.
Yep.
And if you want a wife and a baby, get your own.
And you know how I blame for that?
For what?
Not having a wife and baby of my own.
Oh, let me guess. Not yourself, but someone else.
Right.
Who? Who could possibly be responsible for you not having a wife and a baby other than you?
That Wilson guy.
Who?
You know that jerk Mary was going out with when I met her? If it hadn't been for him, I'd be married to Mary right now, and we'd have a baby, and I'd be living with the Camdens, too.
You weren't in love with Mary Camden.
Actually, I was. I just didn't realize it at the time.
So it's your fault.
No, it's Wilson's fault. He got her so confused, she didn't know what she wanted, and she ran off and married that Carlos guy, and now they have the baby that I should have.
So who confused you?
Confused me.
If Wilson confused Mary, then who confused you so much that you didn't know you were in love with Mary at the time?
Aren't you listening? Wilson. He confused Mary, and she confused me because she was confused by Wilson.
Forget about Wilson, will you?
These two are such idiots.
Yeah. And like, did we forget, Ben, you were trying to get on a plane to get to Mary, and Ruthie wanted to stop you, and and no one stopped you. You turned back. And you said, I'm crazy. She's just going to break my heart again.
I'm going to take a page out of our best friend Bruce's book and just say this. We should know by now that this show is just gonna like pick up random threads based on whoever the fuck they could get to be a guest star on this episode. And genuinely, it was like, let's just grab bag this shit. Let's bring Jeff back. Let's bring Andrew back. Let's have this whole episode to be about fathers, quote unquote, and have a bunch of men spouting their bullshit.
Yep.
Like, this show is just such garbage.
What?
Like, I want better. Like, I want better for this show. I want a cohesive story through line, a season arc. Give me something to hang on to. Instead, we're rehashing shit from 5 seasons ago.
I know.
Like, what are we doing? It's so stupid. Anyway, so these two are arguing like morons, but
Yeah.
they're brothers. So you kind of like, you're like, okay, they're brothers, whatever.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah, like we get it. They're idiots. But then Yahoo fucking Charlie from 3 episodes ago shows up.
Oh man, when he showed up, I was like, oh, Lady J was right.
Was I? Did I predict he'd come back?
No, not about him coming back, but you're like, why would you tell them to have this baby
right.
and you're like and like let them commit to this misery? And I was like, oh yeah, Lady J, man.
But they double down.
Ah.
They double down on the commitment to misery. What Wilson tells him is basically just power through, man. Like,
Yeah.
What? So fucking bonkers. So first of all, when Charlie shows up, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I completely didn't recognize him whatsoever. I was like, do we know him? Because he comes in like, hey, Reverend Camden. I'm like, do I know you, dude? He's the guy who had the kid a couple episodes ago
With Leanne. But when when I saw him at the door, I was like, no, please don't tell me you're continuing the story.
I know. So he shows up. He's like, I can't do this fatherhood thing, bro.
I can't do it. I have a lot of commitments and blah, blah, blah. When he was the one that was all about, I'm going to go to Leanne.
Yeah. All of a sudden, now that he
got
hasn't
real.
slept in a few weeks, he's like, I can't do this. I've got a whole future ahead of me, and I don't think we're the right people to give this kid a future, and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But Leanne's going to be pissed at me. My parents are going to be pissed at me, whatever. And he says something. He goes, we spent like 10 to 12 hours over a few months tops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, didn't you know her since you were a baby?
Yeah, like you guys grew up together.
What are you talking about? And then it occurred to me he's talking about how many times they had sex. Because it comes out of a conversation where Eric's like, do I have to tell you why you were in this situation? He's like, I know where babies come from, but we spent 10 to 12 hours. And I was like, oh, so they had 10 to 12 hours of sex over the last few months is what he's talking about. And then later he mentions how he loves her because he's known her forever. And I'm like, so you didn't forget about that. So what are you talking about? Oh, sex. Okay. But yeah, so he's all of a sudden like freaking out about the fact that he's made this commitment for the next 18 years of his life, and he's given up his life and his like, independence or whatever, and how he can't talk to Leanne about it because Leanne and his parents would just like jump down his throat if he brought it up.
Yeah.
So he's like hoping that Eric will talk to his family, his parents and Leanne for him to be like, don't you think we should give this baby up?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, Eric's the one that got you here.
Yeah,
like,
you shouldn't
not
go to
gonna
him.
be the one to get you out of this. Like, are you stupid?
You should be going to that other church.
Yeah. Really. George's dad's church.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then they talk, and then he sends him away, and he's like, come back at 6 o'clock. Like, tell Leanne you just need to like get away for a minute and come back at 6 o'clock. Lo and behold, that's when Wilson's gonna be here. And Wilson and he have a talk. And Wilson's whole message is like, I believe that children need their fathers. And think about how much stronger your fatherhood will be if you marry Leanne so that baby grows up with his parents, like with a mother and a father that are married to each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, way to fucking double down on this bonkers bullshit show.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad enough 2 episodes or 3 episodes ago, the message was, it's better to raise your own kid than to give it up for adoption.
Yeah.
Fine. Let's assume that was the right call.
Okay.
Now the call for 16-year-old Charlie and Leanne is to get married?
Yeah.
To fucking double down on this farce that is this family, so that the kid grows up in a household with a mother and father that are married to each other? Are you joking me?
Yeah. I know. Nothing sits well. Nothing.
And Charlie's like the first person to be like, don't you think like if we gave this kid up for adoption, I mean, there's like plenty of parents out there that like want to have a kid and like could raise it. And Wilson's like, yeah, I know. I'm one of them. And I'm like, so then you take this baby then. Fucking Wilson? Like, what are you saying right now? Like,
Charlie even thought Wilson was going to take the baby.
I know, legit. For a second, I was like, yeah, I'm one of them. Okay, then you take it, Wilson. What are you doing? This whole thing is so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I know.
Like, not to mention the hilarious, like, you know, gay panic bullshit of like mother and father. Like, don't you mean two parents? Don't you mean two loving people in their, you know, as a presence, and like not mother and father? Like, fuck off, write the fuck off show. Like, just GTFO. Like, that's such propaganda if I ever heard it. But like, the idea that Charlie should just stick it out because these first few weeks are just hard anyway, and like once you get some sleep you'll be fine. Like, the kid is telling you, I don't want to do this. Can't you just take his word for it? Yeah. Can't you just assume or accept that he knows what he's saying and what he wants, and that if he's saying I don't want to be the father to this child, and that I don't think I could be a father to this child, that he won't be, and it's better off to get this child into the hands of someone who wants to be?
It's such a messy topic, and the way that the show handles it is not good. That's it. It's almost like I don't know what kind of opinion to give about this like episode regarding this shit. It's just like all bad patterns. You're telling him to stick it out. He's probably going to fuck up the kid even more because he's going to do something that he doesn't want to do. Like, duke it out. Just duke it out. Just duke it out. Okay. I mean, they weren't ready, and then he wanted the baby, and now he's like regretting it. It's too messy to the point where I'm like, I don't know if the show can write a good answer, and you can't tie it up with a pretty bow. And they did. They still did. He still makes the choice. Yeah. You're right. I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna be with Leanne. I'm gonna be with the kid. You know, and he's like, my parents are going to be mad at me. Leanna's going to be mad at me.
He makes it sound like all he needs is a good night's sleep and he'll think clearly. It's like, okay, yeah, you're sleep deprived. Okay, yeah, the first few weeks for anybody would be tough. But are you just like tired, or are you saying I'm not ready for this responsibility? Because if someone's coming to me and saying I'm not ready for this responsibility, I'm not going to go, you're just tired, dude.
It's ridiculous. Right now I just thought of like Rogelio from Jane the Virgin about like fathers having postpartum. Like, I'm just remembering that. I don't know why. Oh God, I love that show. But anyways, with this one, yeah, it's just too messy, man. It's just wrong. All of it is wrong. The writing, everything about this is wrong.
It's just a way to shoehorn Wilson in. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally just that. Like, and not to mention the other sort of undercurrent of this episode, which is Eric's relationship with the twins. Like, you know, it starts with like, I'm not going to work. I'm just going to play with you guys. We're going to stay in PJs all day. It's going to be fun. And the kids are like, you have to work, don't you, though? And he's like, no, I don't have to work today. And they're like, okay. And then he, of course, has to work because Charlie shows up and they're like, we told you can't care for us because you have to work. And then, so then they go fucking crazy. The dog poops everywhere. They give it
bag of cookies.
The games are everywhere. And then all of a sudden they're like, I told you know, we feel better now that we're all cleaned up and changed out of our PJs, aren't you, or whatever. And it's like, and then the subtext of all that being like, it's not even subtext, like the sort of wrap up of that whole story is like, oh, good night, daddy, we love you.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, because you're here for us. And it's like, there's ways to be a parent that's not just caring for your biological children. Let's not even get me started on the idea that if they had been exposed to the full spectrum of parenthood planning, of parent planning available to them, they wouldn't have even been in this fucking position, okay? If they had the option to have an abortion or to use a condom because they had been exposed to safe sex instead of abstinence bullshit their whole lives. Like, don't even get me fucking started on that shit. Like, the message that like, a kid needs his father, and then the fact that like Kevin is like tripping because that's why he hates the doctor is not because he hates the doctor, but because like he's scared and he doesn't know and he doesn't want to fuck up. He doesn't want to make mistakes.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's doing. And Eric's like, you're gonna make mistakes, dude. Don't worry about it. It's like, it's just a bunch of dudes slapping each other on the ass being like, you got this, bro. Like, oh my God, it's so frustrating. I need to like stop talking for 5 seconds. It's just a really frustrating episode.
It is. I don't care for this episode. I mean, with like many episodes, but God.
And that's how it ends. It ends with like Kevin made to feel good about himself, about like, oh, don't worry. I'm of course I'm nervous. I'm a first time father. I'll be fine. It's meant to leave Charlie like, okay, I'm going to go back to my responsibilities. I got this. Yeah. It's meant to leave Wilson like, I did the right thing. I stayed with my kid. Watch, check it out. It's made to make Ben feel cool for hitting on this bitch, like this doctor woman, and like
took her out for fish and chips, and he
with
doesn't like chips.
With her kids, and like, ooh, I'm the greatest because I tolerated kids for half a day, even though they're not mine. Like what?
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the better part of the story, which almost doesn't even fit in this episode, is Ruthie's like coming to terms with her adolescence and like, hormonal feelings as a teenager. And I'm like, doesn't even belong in this episode. Like, what is happening?
I know.
Yeah. It's a nightmare.
I feel like this episode went over my head because I really think I know I checked out.
I kind of had to too.
I checked out only because I was like, no, I can't. I don't like it. The conversations are just, they're not good. It's messy and they can't fix this.
I will say, quick side note, Martin really done fucked up that moment when Mac introduces Ruthie to those two floozies as like his little sister. Like Martin's look of glee on his face. Did you catch it?
Yeah.
He's like excited that Ruthie gets referred to as a little sister. Like, dude, she's like your little sister. Like, at least have some empathy for her.
Yeah.
Like, especially because a second ago you called her out. You know what's happening here. You know she's into Mac. Like, don't openly express glee when Mac like shuts her down. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, it makes me like not want him to be with her because I feel like he doesn't deserve her.
Yeah.
And shut up. It's totally gonna happen.
Yeah, I know it is gonna happen. Oh, who knows when?
That's why he feels that way. Like, he's excited that Mac thinks that because he's into her. Just watch.
When will that be revealed?
Dude, it's gonna be a minute though. Especially after this debacle, I feel like it's gonna be a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm excited.
Yeah, true.
That's the shit that makes me excited. Like, that was the fun point of this episode. And it gets like swept under the rug by all this father conversations. It's like, ugh.
And they keep saying Martin's like my older brother. I'm like, oh my God, can we
She
stop?
does keep saying that. And I'm just like, Ruthie, until he's not, yo.
Until he's not. Oh God, I don't know. Oh, dude. Okay. But like, when Ben comes in
the first time,
towards the end of the night after his date, and Wilson is leaving, I was like, there was this childish like thought in my head. I was like, someone's gonna throw a punch. Please tell me someone's gonna throw a punch. Like I don't want to see that because that's not the right thing. But at the same time, the show is so ridiculous. You're like, give it to me.
No, what's more ridiculous is that they cross each other.
Yeah,
and then Wilson turns around and he's like, Ben? Like, like you don't remember him?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, and then Ben's like, Wilson? And they're like, oh my God, what the hell? And then they like walk away. But like the idea,
Ben throws like a backhanded comment to him. He's like, all right, good to see you too, and leaves.
Yeah, but the idea that they don't recognize each other immediately like is a joke. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? Like, neither of them have changed at all since the last time they saw each other.
It would have been funny if Ben's like, Wilson, and like points at him. He's like, you ruined my life. It would have been funny to me.
I mean, it would have been funny, but at the same time, like, I
childish and
honestly
ridiculous.
just wish they would have just passed each other and not said anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's worse that they pass each other and then they recognize each other in
Yeah.
their own minds, turn around, oh, you, and then nothing happens. Like, that's stupider. Like, at least
Yeah.
just have them pass each other as if they don't remember. And then that's an even funnier joke.
Yeah.
Because how
doesn't
funny.
matter.
Exactly, because how funny that Ben blames Wilson for all his shortcomings
Yeah.
and then doesn't even recognize him when he sees him, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the joke, not the joke of like, nah, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
what? This show just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
This show does not get it at all. It's bad.
I don't know. Yeah, I keep saying I don't know because it's just so messy. There's nothing good about this episode. Only like Ruthie's thing is like kind of okay.
It's fun.
Yeah.
But it's not even like fun. It's
Yeah.
just like worth watching. I
yeah.
guess.
But
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
No.
I didn't
don't
care for
either.
Charlie's story.
No, I don't care about him. Like,
You
if
told
you
me-
want me to care about him.
Yeah.
Give me more backstory, make me follow him. Like, don't just show him to me for 10 seconds an episode ago, and then in this episode go, I'm not sure. And then, like, I'm supposed to care?
Yeah. I don't know.
Also, too,
What?
sorry, not to, like, belabor the point or whatever, but, like, who is this for? The storyline of like a teenage father who's, you know, debating whether or not he wants to be in his kid's life. Who is this for? Because I guarantee it's not for your audience.
Yeah.
The people that are watching Seventh Heaven are not teenage fathers that are contemplating being fathers or not.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, like, what is it? Just for people who are not that way to feel good about the choices they've made in their lives? Like,
I
who
don't
is
know.
this for? It's so stupid. Like, it's like self-serving. It doesn't lead to anything.
No.
There's no, you know, narrative sort of plot or, you know, growth or progression or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's just for the sake of saying, oh, look at how cool we are. We dealt with this storyline.
Yeah.
And what?
You dealt with the storyline and you failed miserably.
Yeah. Yeah. That's genuinely what it is, I think.
Because what Wilson said to Charlie went over my head because I checked
in
out.
one ear out the other.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't, like you said, I don't care about Charlie. I don't.
Nope.
And it's just such garbage. Just garbage.
Just the worst. Let's rate it.
I don't even want to give it thumbs.
No, it's not even worth thumbing it.
I don't want to give it thumbs.
This is going to be the first episode we don't rate in our 2-year history.
Like, throw this episode away. Throw it away.
It might be too early to claim that in this season.
I'm sure there's going to be 10 more of them.
If each season gets a throwaway episode, it might be too early to claim this one as this season's.
But it's terrible.
I know it's pretty bad. But the Ruthie thing saves it in terms of like keeping it. You know what I mean? Instead, in terms of not throwing it away.
You know, at some point when the show just gets like heavy into Charlie's story, and
you're like, what are you reaching for?
yeah, what are you? And then, but like to see Wilson, and then when I saw Ben come back in, like you know, from the backyard, I was like, oh yeah, Ben is in this episode. Like I forgot Ben was there.
Yeah.
I even have it in my notes. I'm like, oh yeah, Ben again.
Yeah. It's bad. Let's truly not rate it. Like for the sake of the gimmick. Let's
Okay.
not rate this episode.
Yeah.
2-year anniversary, no rating.
Okay. Oh, but I will say when Wilson sees Ruthie, he goes, "Oh my God, you're all grown up. Shut up!" Like,
Oh, I know. That was so clutch. She's like, whatever.
like I don't have time for your shit. Shut up. Loved it.
She's great. I do. I have a soft spot for Ruthie. Like for all of my issues with her.
Yeah.
Like I think it's because I see myself in her so much more than any other character these days. You
Yeah.
know? Like I recognize my emotions and my sort of, you know, rainbow of
Yeah.
like a range of like feelings and stuff in her. And so I'm like, I get you, girl.
So
I'm
funny.
here for it. Okay. Well, did we do it? Any stray observations?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Like, I apologize to the listeners for this episode.
I know. We were like so angry, but it's only because we're so passionate about like, we want this show to be good.
Yeah.
It's just when it's not, it fails so miserably.
And I can't talk about it because I really don't like it.
No,
and
it's true. It's true.
I'm apologizing for
Garbage. Right in the garbage, except it's too soon to claim it.
Yeah.
At least my opinion. You can throw it in the
that.
garbage.
You're at the tip of the garbage, okay? You just might be thrown in. We don't know yet.
We're just like, we're like tying the ties and we're like getting ready to shove you down the chute.
Yeah.
But like, we're not quite there yet.
There might be another one.
Yeah. All right. Well, until next time, bye.
Bye.